I know I'm not the only one that is raising questions. Nothing makes sense anymore. Things happening all over the world. And some people want to get out and they say, this is God that's doing it. These are storms that are happening from God. I don't believe it. Anybody that studies all of the patents and all the history and all the facts knows that the governments of the world have the technology to mess with weather and to do things. Now, I can't prove for conclusive facts that that's what's going on with California or what's happened with the hurricanes, but all I know is that one disaster after the other keeps on happening. Listen, when North Carolina got whacked with the worst hurricane ever in the history of North Carolina that is still completely, utterly destroyed, with all those people that have passed away from that storm and the damage it's all over the place. Now we go to California with utter destruction, and here it's Monday morning, January 13th, and the news that I see from the Weather Channel this morning is that there's more wind. There's no rain that's in the forecast out in California. But here's what doesn't make any sense. Two things. One, in North Carolina, they found out that North Carolina has the largest supply of lithium in the world and also quartz crystals. And what do you find out after that hit up there? Some of these big global companies are going in there and they're trying to take over all the land. I don't really know specifically what the heck's going on in California, but nothing makes sense. Listen, the water reserve that they use for all the firefighters out there is completely empty. What are the odds of something like that happening? That the water supply that controls the firefighters out there is completely empty, and then fires hit with wind up to 100 miles an hour, spreading fire all over the place, and that's just an accident. It's just nature. Nothing makes sense anymore. Look at a couple of these articles here, and you draw your own conclusion. This story's actually a couple days old, but stunner. Why was Pacific Palisades Reservoir empty? It gets worse. I'm not going to read the whole story. You can hit pause and look at it. But the fact is, this thing was emptied and all kinds of crazy stuff's going on. This is raising a lot of questions now, and I hope the truth comes out. I hope that if this was really emptied on purpose and they knew that there was going to be a fire and they wanted these guys to have no protection, then I pray that somehow, some way, this truth gets out. I hope a story like this wakes a lot of people up. The 117 million gallon Santa Ynez Reservoir was empty and down for maintenance when the devastating fire sparked. What are the odds of that happening? What are the odds of a hurricane hitting North Carolina? Worse than ever. Up to over 36 inches of rain in one spot in North Carolina. Unbelievable what's going on. Friday, officials confirmed that the reservoir had been down for nearly a year, closing in February 2024 for maintenance to cover of the reservoir. Really? Shut down for a year? Here, this is on Twitter. X, I guess. Check this out. I mean, there you go. The empty reservoir wasn't caused by climate change. It was caused by Democrats. That I know is an absolute fact. I don't trust anything that's going on anymore. Nothing makes any sense. And it's way worse than that. Then you got all these fire departments and firefighters all over America that gave things to Ukraine, and they apparently didn't have enough stuff in California to defend themselves when this thing hit. Another thing that doesn't add up. The fire broke out on Tuesday, January 7th, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we have three large water tanks, about 1 million gallons each. We ran out of water in the first tank at about 4:45 p.m. We ran out of water in the second at about 8:30 p.m. and the third at about 3 a.m. So just imagine you go in to fight fires, and the fire department can't keep fighting fires because they don't have water. And then you can look up Trump talking, saying that he was actually trying to do something in 2020, I believe, to get a bunch of water down into California to help them, and they refused it. So I don't know what truth's going to come out, but a lot is starting to break, and I hope that it comes out in a big way. You can read this whole article. You can hit pause, stop, and look at it. I just wanted to show you there's a ton of information coming out about this right now.